Hi, welcome to RenéMarie Stroke of Luck TV show. I thought it was really important to start the show today by me sharing a little bit of my information and bringing awareness to everyone about strokes. We always are saying that it doesn't matter what your age, that strokes does not discriminate against anybody, your age, your religion, your color, your size. It doesn't discriminate. And with the passing of Luke Perry, crossing over to the other side, Luke Perry has really brought the awareness to the forefront that it can happen to anybody. Luke Perry was age 52. As most of you know that follow us, my stroke happened at age 26, and back then we had no idea about the awareness of strokes. Can you hear me? We had no idea. Sorry, Jim, that was my fault. We had no idea about the awareness of strokes. So I really always like to capture the moment that and bring to your attention that strokes can happen to anybody at any specific time. It doesn't discriminate. And in my press, I said, do you get the message yet? Do you get the message yet? Because you don't want something to happen and then you're wondering, you're caught up in the difficulties, because strokes, it's an ongoing recovery if you suffer from a stroke. Let me backtrack a little bit. Strokes, 80% of strokes can be prevented if you know the signs. You have to learn the signs. You have to be aware of it. Becoming aware of it does not mean that you're going to suffer a stroke. It just means that you're preventing the ongoing difficulties of having a stroke. So you have to learn the fast. The fast is, if you see somebody or if you feel yourself suffering a stroke, and that person's face is drooping, uneven on one side, that could be a sign of a stroke. The arms, which I can't put mine out, but the arms, if an arm droops, that is a sign of a stroke. The smile, if you smile and only one side goes up and the other one doesn't, that's a sign of a stroke. Speech, aphasia, speech, when you lisp, when they're not speaking clearly, that is a sign of a stroke. And I will share with you that I've heard from many people through this conversation that the world is having right now because of Luke Perry's passing, is that sometimes, many years ago, when people were lisping or not being able to communicate, they were considered drunk and not being able to, or on drugs. I had someone come to my house and put in my cable vision back then, and he had suffered a stroke, 2 strokes, and they thought because he was so young, he was 20-some years old, that he was on drugs, and he wasn't. He was suffering a stroke. And then this is the really important one, time. Time is of the essence when someone is suffering a stroke. You have a 4.5-hour window, and we're going to confirm that with Dr. Beculis, who is coming onto the show today, Skyping in to really talk about, take this platform once again for Luke Perry crossing over. But I think it's 4.5-hour window. I think they extended it a little bit. We'll get confirmation from a professional. But you have to call 911 ASAP. And dealing with many ambulance and EMTs, and they would rather you call them and they take care of it, and they're seeing that it was a false alarm. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Better be safe than sorry. And this is one of the keys that we always add in on our foundation is when you call 911, you have to tell them it could be a stroke, because that will automatically put them into stroke mode, and they will know what they have to do to save your life. And Save your life comes in two different facets. Save your life means passing and crossing over the way Luke Perry did. And save your life, the quality of your life. Because every single second counts when you're suffering a stroke. Every single second. Because there's so many different extents of how people survive it. Some people are in wheelchairs. Some people can't move. Some people are in beds. Some people have struggles. Some people can't think. So there's so many different facets to that. So we cannot express enough how stroke and time is of the essence when someone could possibly be suffering a stroke. The American Stroke Association has an app. Get that app. Go to the American Stroke Association, get that app, put it on your phone, and that way if you think someone could be suffering a stroke, you can pop on that app and you can refer to it to see if someone's having a stroke. Miss Connecticut, who is going to be a guest on our 2019 telethon, that was one of her goals and objectives when she was on Miss America, to create an app to help in that particular way, because she had a friend who they didn't know the signs. This is really important to take this platform. And we want to send our regards out to Luke Perry's family and the ones he loves. And not only to Luke Perry, because Luke Perry, without even knowing, took on this life-saving platform without knowledge or without any awareness. And I believe that his voice is going to speak so much volume and stay alive through the conversation. And I really want to reach out to everyone that's had a stroke, because although Luke Perry was he was famous, he was known to everyone. There's many people on the backside who are having strokes, and we want to reach out to them. When I was on my Facebook page, in a group, Young Stroke Patients, or Young Stroke Survivors, it's called, they said, well, when did your stroke happen? And 320 patients or survivors answered that. Could you imagine? That's on one, and within a few days, 320 survivors. We okay, Jen? 320 survivors came forth. So, that's just literal reminder that it can happen to anybody at any specific time. So we have a really great show today, but I really thought it was important for me to take this opportunity to bring forth and keep the conversation going. Please keep the conversation going. Please share with everybody. Share this program with everybody. Share all the news releases that are out with everybody. And we hope that with this awareness that's coming to light at this particular time, that we hope that it saves lives, and we know it will save lives. Please join us on our telethon, which is on May 5th. Please join us on our telethon May 5th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on www.villageconnectionradio.com, or right here on Facebook. It really is going to keep the conversation going. It's our 5th annual telethon, our 5th annual announcement, Stroke of Luck Internet TV program. It's our 5th annual Language of Love Foundation anniversary, and it's my 30th anniversary of my stroke. And I am so happy and so proud that we're in this, and we're making a difference in the stroke world. And we believe that it's together that we're lifting our voices and changing the face of strokes and aphasia locally and globally around the world. So please join us today. We have a wonderful show, and we're going to get going. Thank you for listening tonight.
life. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are give our faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh, better. Oh, better. Oh, better. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith.
Ready, Jim? Hi, welcome to RenéMarie Stroke of Luck. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a great show prior to the added guests, special guests. But now it's going to be a really momentum show to really take this platform of strokes and aphasia and really lift us and lift the voices and lift the information to the rest of the world. And that is really our goal and objective. As you can see, we have our wonderful board member, telethon executive on the panel today, and it's Virginia Werner. Hi, Virginia.
Hi, nice to be here. It's good to see you again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yes, it's about a while only in front of the camera.
Exactly.
Because behind the camera, you've been doing your work.
Yeah.
You've been doing your work. And of course, we got Judy Marlowe on the end, the co-host. Hi, Judy.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. We're really good. So, we got a jam-packed show but in light of the Luke Perry crossing over. Like I said prior, I don't know if anybody's joining us now, finally, but if you have, please go rewind this show after the show to really see a spotlight segment that I really thought it was very profound for me to take this opportunity to share about strokes. And we keep saying it, but you got to keep saying it. You got to keep saying it. You got to keep bringing it the attention that strokes can happen to anybody at any age. And that's one of the reasons that Virginia was scheduled on the show prior to any information. Virginia's 10-year anniversary for her stroke is this month. So
it might be today. I don't really remember.
Is it 9 years?
10
years.
10 years.
10 years. So I just want to make sure that I'm watching, because I got Dr. Beculis and Jason coming on. So we're going to really start the show. We'll keep you going. We'll inform you what we're doing. But I want to stay on track because I want to make sure that everybody has the proper and the enough time to get their message out to the world. And of course, we have Doreen on, and later on we'll talk about Doreen, and she was scheduled on the show as well. Let me just get information because I'm drawing a blank.
Time to play.
Time to play, and that's very, very important in this day and age. Is you need time to play, and we're going to find out how Doreen came to that concept, and what her mission is, and really hear about her backstory on that. But that's in the second half of the show, so we really look forward to that. Is Dr. Beculis and Jason ready to rock and roll with us? Dr. Beculis and Jason, where on our show a while.
I believe it was December 2nd.
December 2nd? Okay. Let me just share. Is it on here, Judy?
It may not be on that sheet, but I believe it was December 2nd. Definitely in the month of December.
Oh, okay. So Dr. Bekelis is a neurosurgeon and co-director of Neuro ICU at Good Samaritan Hospital. And Jason Walden, is that how you spell it? Wallen is a registered radiographic technologist in endovascular neurosurgery. That's a mouthful. Yes, at Good Samaritan Hospital. And they were on our show, and they're so full of information. And they're really on our team now. And I watch them on Facebook, and really the extraordinary work that they are doing, aside from the surgeries. They're going out to bring information to everyone and anybody that wants them to talk. So when Luke Perry's crossing over, I said to Judy, call them and ask them if they would Skype in, just to really take this segment, take this spotlight, really capture the moment, so that we could bring awareness to strokes. And then I also have heard that the tongue is another sample of ways that you could ask someone if you could see if someone's had a stroke. So I wanted to get that from a professional, and we're going to ask Dr. Bekelis about the 4.5 hours to 6 hours. So let's bring them on, Jim. Let's bring them on. They're on. Good morning.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Dr. Bekelis.
Hi, guys. Renee, thank you for having us again.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us last minute. We love the fact that we're all engaged, right? We want to get this. We want to bring the information, right?
We absolutely want to get the word out, and I think the first part of your show was a great segue to this. We treat stroke every day, but the most important impact we can make on these patients is prevention. And also understanding the signs and symptoms, as you said early, so that if somebody's having a stroke, they can get treatment in a timely manner so that it makes an impact on their life, especially for young patients.
Right. So I know that you guys have been out and about, you and Jason, doing, bringing awareness to strokes. Dr. Bekelis, my first segment, I was talking about time, that
Yes.
It used to be 4.5 hours. Has it extended at all?
Yes, so, there's two ways we treat ischemic stroke, meaning the stroke where there's no blood flowing to part of the brain that results in, obviously, death of that part of the brain and the symptoms that we know. For that particular type of stroke, we have two treatment options. One is the clot-busting medicine, the IVTPA, and for that medication to be administered, you need 3 to 4.5 hours of a time window. So that hasn't changed. Now, what has changed is that we have another treatment option involving going through the groin, navigating our catheters and wires all the way up into the brain, and removing large blood clots. For that type of treatment, we're extending the time window actually all the way to 24 hours, believe it or not. And this is recent data that came out of two very large trials on Diffuse 3 several months ago that demonstrated that if we have the appropriate imaging modalities, namely CT perfusion, which is a special CAT scan, that can tell us whether the brain is still alive all the way up to 24 hours, and we can offer these treatments. That doesn't mean, obviously, that if you are having a stroke or you think somebody's having a stroke, you can wait. The shorter the time frame, the more likely you are to recover. I would say in that case, every 15 minutes, for example, we've had studies that show that every 15 minutes we can improve patient outcomes by giving treatment earlier and earlier. But if somebody has woken up and they're having stroke-like symptoms, there's still hope. Because, if they were last seen normal 12 hours ago when they were awake, now we can still offer the treatment if the brain is alive. So we've extended the treatment option to 24 hours. Now, especially for young patients, ischemic stroke, the stroke where blood doesn't flow to the brain, is what most people obviously know when they hear about stroke. But there's another component of stroke called hemorrhagic stroke, the bleeding type of stroke, which is in younger patients extremely common. A lot of the young people that you hear or see die from a stroke, most of the times they die from especially when they die quickly from a stroke, they die from either a brain hemorrhage, brain bleeding, which is the bleeding type of stroke, or from a ruptured aneurysm. A ruptured brain aneurysm can claim the lives of a lot of young people, and it's a type of stroke. It's a type of stroke called subarachnoid hemorrhage. And again, if you're having other symptoms that you can detect that need immediate attention, is a sudden onset sharp headache, the worst headache of your life. That can mean an aneurysm rupture or a brain bleed, and these people should also go to the emergency room or call 911 as quickly as possible, because sometimes, especially with aneurysms, the quicker you get to the hospital, the quicker you can get treatment, get your blood pressure under control, and prevent a catastrophic problem and potentially save a life.
Well, that's why we say that when someone thinks that someone is having a stroke, that when they call, they really need to give advance notice to the ambulance or the 911, because it just gives an open door, just opens a little bit, just so they know what to start looking for. If it's not, then they could also go in another direction, but it's so important that time is of the essence.
Absolutely, and your point about EMS is a very good one. The EMS providers are trained to recognize the signs and symptoms of stroke, and they know what hospital these patients should go to. And so, as you said, it doesn't hurt to be aggressive as a patient or as a family member and get checked out if you're thinking you're having a stroke. The alternative of having a stroke and not getting to a hospital on time and not getting treatment on time might mean either a life of disability or, worse yet, losing your life.
Wow. Yeah. It's just very moving to us, because we were the blessed ones, Ginnie and I, because we're sitting here. But, there's so many, I'm sure you see the different degrees of stroke effects, and the recovery center that you guys have. Tell us a little bit about the recovery center, Jason.
So we have a support group. It's one of the first support groups here on the South Shore of Long Island. It's open to all stroke patients. The disease has been here longer than we have. We opened the center in September 2017. So we open our doors to everyone. We encourage friends and family involvement, even if the patient's not able to come. Sometimes the patient goes to rehab. Sometimes the patient, especially males, can be resistant. They don't want to acknowledge that something's wrong. They kind of want to move on. So we do encourage that the families can come even without the patient. And, we have a very robust support group. We try to do educational pieces every month. And, we're looking for great things in this year.
And that's a whole, I'm glad you touched on that, Jason, because this not only affects the person that has suffered a stroke, but this affects
The family.
family, friends, loved ones, everyone. So, I mean, when I was going to a support group, and we start off with, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, we start off with everybody sharing, why they're there and how they got there. But then basically the end conversation is about recovery and how, and the insurance and how they're covered and the trials and tribulations and how it affects the family. I mean, this one family, the woman would go to work because she'd have to support her family, but then she'd be on the phone the entire her breaks, her lunch, before, trying to deal with it. So it really does affect the entire family. It really does.
Absolutely.
The entire family.
And you're absolutely right, and that ties in a lot to the younger patients. The younger the patients, obviously the most profound the impact is for the family and for the future of these folks. We've we've had patients as young as 27 with a stroke. Last night we treated somebody who was 48, and he's doing great. So, young patients, young people do get strokes, and it's hard to, when somebody's young, it's hard to realize that they might be having a stroke if they're having symptoms. They tend to ignore them. And if Luke Perry's passing can get one big message through, is that no matter what your age is, if you're experiencing the symptoms that you discussed before, or the worst headache of your life, I would say call 911 as quickly as possible. It does not hurt to be proactive.
Yeah, I hope that, do you have any information about Luke Perry? Because I know it was only announced that it was a massive stroke. Do you have any insight into, because it's been very private, which I understand, but is there any public information about what his stroke was?
There hasn't been any public information, and obviously the family want to be very private, and we all respect that. Yeah. We can only make assumptions of what could have happened. It's just that given the short amount of time from the time he had the stroke to the time of his passing, it is more likely that this was a bleeding type of stroke, but we wouldn't be able to really tell you without having any information. And I think we shouldn't be making any assumptions. But I think bringing awareness to both aspects of stroke, meaning the ischemic type of stroke, the stroke where blood doesn't flow to the brain, causing death of brain cells, or the bleeding type of stroke where there's an excessive amount of bleeding inside the brain, either from an aneurysm or from high blood pressure, is I think the best thing we can do at this point. And I know that people are engaged, obviously, because of what happened, and so it is the ideal time to get the message through. And you and I do it every day. We try to get the message to people, but sometimes you need willing ears to have to make an impact. And I think this sad as it might be, but this is an opportunity to save more lives.
Yeah, that's why I said in his crossing, one of his legacy is going to be his work and the way he was very really warm and gentle individual, very wonderful to work with. Everybody in the industry said that. But really, it's going to be how alive his name is going to be, and saving lives in the stroke world. And that to me is like, I am so grateful that, not that he passed, but grateful for the awareness that is bringing to the world. Sometimes when you have one person pass, you save millions of lives, and that is going to be the case with Luke Perry. It's going to definitely be the case with Luke Perry. Dr. Beculus, tell us, I heard on the internet or through reading one of the Luke Perry press releases, from, I don't know, there were so many, I don't even know, but that was awesome. But that the tongue, tell us about the tongue and how that could be an awareness for strokes.
Sure. So, similar to the things that you're describing, which was, the face asymmetry, the droopiness, the arm weakness, the speech difficulty, sometimes even tongue deviation, so your tongue not going to the midline, can be an indication of either a stroke happening or some sort of compression, but it can be an indication of a neurologic problem that needs to be definitely investigated further. And that is another component that we need to understand. I doubt that, most of the times you do not have isolated tongue problems. It would be in combination with all the signs and symptoms you're describing.
Right.
But this is something additional that people can notice. And, we talk about the big things, obviously, but, even numbness can be an indication of a small stroke. So the way we see it is any neurologic problem, any issue that you are uncomfortable with neurologically, I would get it checked out as quickly as possible.
And the truth is that, if you're in tune with your body, you kind of know when something's off.
Sure.
But you need to stay aware of your body, because if you're just one that just keeps going and going and going and pushing through things, which is important. Like our friend Jim here, he's trying to push through his neurological circumstances, which we spoke about when we were there on the show. But sometimes, like Jim and I speak all the time, you need to listen to your body.
Absolutely. You know, it is particularly important, and a lot of us are guilty of that. We get the signs and symptoms, and we ignore them because it can never happen to us, right?
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, these diseases do not discriminate. They do not pick the time of the day that you're busy. They do not pick the perfect time. But your life is important, and you need to listen to your body and address the signs and symptoms.
Yeah, because without our health, we have nothing. Without our health, we have absolutely nothing, because you can't live. I mean, you have to really care for yourself. You have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And loving yourself also means taking care of your health as well.
Absolutely.
Jason, if anybody in the Long Island area wants to reach out to you and Dr. Beculus to come and talk promos, I've actually sent down a memo to everybody that, you know, I would like to come and share with them my experience and bring awareness to it. Where can you and Dr. Beculus be reached?
So we have a website of Stroke Care Long Island that also we have a lot of the diseases that we deal with, and like the signs and symptoms, and kind of we have a nice robust education aspect to it. Also, I have my number for the support group. It is 631-487-3119, and the meetings are every month. It's the fourth Tuesday of every month, 6 p.m. We do have special guest speakers. I was aware that you would like to come. We would love to have you. We had a music therapist come not too long ago. We had some physical therapy come. We really try to cater to our patients' needs and have them guide the support groups. It's all patient-centered.
Yes. Well, Judy and I are trying to work out that date, and we're definitely going to help you. And if there's any other, location you're going to be at that you want our support and you want our help coming from a stroke patient, I would love to be a part of that, because I'm passionate about bringing awareness and talking from the other side of someone who has experienced it. And the second chance, I always say that I've had a second chance at life. And with that second chance, I got to make a difference in the world. So that's really important. We want to thank you for really just, out of the blue, getting up early, especially on daylight savings time. And I know you guys are working right now. But, to join us for this really important pinpoint moment in the world. So thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to bring to the attention of everybody? I don't like to cut anybody off.
No, thank you. I think you shed a light into everything, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you so much.
Beverly.
When we get off, Jim, I want you to put up the fast photos so that we could make sure that everybody actually sees what we're talking about. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You pinning it up? We just want everybody to, so it's up. Okay, so, while it's up on the screen, I want everybody to take notice of that. If you could snapshot your phone, if you're on your phone, snapshot your phone, save it to your favorites, put it on your page. Maybe we need to come up with like a nice, beautiful, decorative page and just like fast on the side, But Bernie McDavitt, our board nurse, did this. She has a whole video actually, which I'm going to post again, talking about life and strokes. And there's the Knowing the Signs Could Save a Life by the American Stroke Association, who does a wonderful job. That doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't. We just partners with the American Stroke Association because we want to have a source that of someone that is professional and could provide information for us. And Sharon Bean, we want to say thank you to you for all you do for us. You're an incredible individual off of the American Stroke Association that Judy had shared with, connected us to. So thank you so much. Okay, so we're gonna go right into Ginnie talking about her experience and her 10-year celebration, and the fact that we get Ginnie to work on our foundation and be a part of our foundation and the telethon. And thank you so much.
You know what? It's an honor to be able to work with someone with these people who are so passionate, and it has brought me in and given me more drive to get involved, because it was like, okay, what? But this is something very positive, and really, really, I'm honored to be able to help. It's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Thank
Ginnie,
you.
when you talk about your stroke, can you talk about the symptoms before?
I went into this being extremely healthy. I had none of the health issues. My blood pressure was on the low side, no cholesterol problems, no family history, active all the time. About 2 days before I actually realized there was a stroke going on, I just didn't feel right. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was about 2 days before. That was a Thursday. Friday, I was talking to a friend, and I felt like there was something slightly wrong with my speech. And I said, do I sound funny? I don't sound right to me. She said, no, you sound okay. And it was, we went.
And you realized it yourself.
I just felt that there was something wrong, but I didn't know.
But that just goes back to, I just like to always take the moment that we know ourselves.
Yeah.
We know ourselves.
Right.
We know ourselves.
But I had no awareness of stroke symptoms other than watching someone have a seizure and fall on the floor.
Right.
That was my concept of someone having a stroke. I didn't know about all the other things that could happen. We got to Saturday, and we were going about our business, my husband and I, and all of a sudden I was having lapses in my speech. I would try to speak, and it was coming out all slurred. And my husband looked at me and he went, say that again? And I tried, and he went, So within about an hour or so, he said, we're going to the hospital. So we went to the emergency room at LIJ, and they take you in. If they see anything that slightly resembles a stroke, they get you in right away, and they did all the alphabet tests and the x-rays and the CAT scans.
Did Herb let them know that it could be a stroke?
I don't know. Did you tell them?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Okay. When
So-
I was trying to sign in and having been a problem trying to either get the right word.
Did you have
or,
trouble writing?
a little bit, so that there was something going on there, but it was basically an aphasia.
Right.
When the doctor came back in after they had finished the tests and said, all right, we're waiting for a bed to open up for you because you've had a stroke, and it was, what?
Yeah.
Are you,
Yeah.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
And they continued to do a lot of tests because I had no other physical, signs to say what was going on. What it turned out and what we believe was the cause, I have something called fibromuscular dysplasia. It's a condition, and it can happen in different parts of the body, in different arteries, but in the carotid, it will narrow and swell. And if you saw an x-ray, it looks like a string of pearls. And we think a small blood clot, got lodged in there and broke loose and worked its way.
Thank
into
God
the
it
brain.
broke loose.
Yeah, and when you stroke of luck show, and I would say that was a stroke of luck. It was small.
Yeah.
If it had gone untreated, unnoticed, I could have had a really big, major problem.
Yeah.
So Plavix is the world's largest prescribed medication. I'm one of them.
Oh, you take
Plavix.
Plavix.
Yeah. And I see my neurologist every year. We do the Dopplers and everything. I might have been born with this.
Right.
It was never discovered before that.
Not before that. I'd never had any reason to have a Doppler done. It can be in the coronary arteries. It can be in the renal arteries. And sometimes that's found by accident when they're looking at something else in that area of the body. But I had all the tests in all the other places. Everything else is clear. This has been stable for 10 years. It hasn't changed.
Because you care for the situation.
Yes.
You're on top of it. You go to the doctors. You stay in tune with what you're feeling and how what the doctors say, and so you're maintaining your health.
Absolutely. And my neurologist said, this you could be fine for the rest of your life. I said, I will see you every year.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any
Yeah.
chances.
It's better to be
Better to be safe
cautious.
than sorry on that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I was very, very lucky that there were
So was I.
really no major after effects. sometimes I look for a word, but I think everybody does that.
Yeah.
You know.
So you were in the hospital just a few days?
I was there 3 or 4 days, I guess, and they finally said, okay, we're basically confident that we know what caused this. You know, fly, be free, have a good life.
Yeah.
So you didn't need any physical therapy? You didn't need any?
Because my speech came back.
Speech came back? Okay.
Yeah. So, in fact, actually, I had another small episode while I was in the hospital, but they think that was, I was getting dehydrated. They pumped more fluid into me, but I had another speech thing, one morning.
Wow.
But I have been fine. I haven't had any problems.
And that's a
since,
blessing.
And that really is a blessing.
That is amazing.
And that's why we feel compelled, is a good word, to make a difference, because we know what it feels like to have experienced a stroke, and it's a scare.
It's a very scary.
It's an awakening to you.
When you can't express yourself, the fear that you have, and people that have like a major aphasia that stays with them, and people think they're drunk. I mean, there's been incidents not on the news where police have stopped people, and they're trying to express themselves, and they think they're drunk. And they arrest them, and there's other issues involved. So,
and it turns out to be a medical
issue,
thing.
and the police who do a fine job, but they need to also be aware to look for these things.
They need to be trained.
Yeah.
But I think the police officers and the ambulance, they're in training all the time.
Yes.
So all this stuff does bring to light. So we're so happy that you joined us and that you're a part of our team, and that we're so excited about the work we do, and we have fun doing it.
Yes, we absolutely do. And I'm the Excel guru, so every time, okay, we're going to have this person on the show, and I'm throwing more things into the spreadsheet. So I'm kind of like the backdoor person with the charts and the lists and so on.
Yes.
And it's just it's exciting. It's exciting to watch the telethon happen. I was
my
the
God.
first one.
Which one was the first one? Was it the very first one?
The very first telethon,
Good.
and it was Donna Dean,
Yes.
who I found out about through, and came in, and we've worked together. Brought in Jasmine Lai, who's my acupuncturist.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
By the way, I was the judge in Donna Dean's.
You were the the year before me. Donna crowned me, so that was we have, and Donna is now living in Florida. She kind of
well, she comes back
She's
and
just
forth.
Skype in. She's just Skype in.
I could talk to her. I can communicate with her.
We want to stay connected with everybody, because it's important that our goal is to have representatives in every single state.
And she sang at the first telethon.
Yes,
Donna
she
Dean.
did. Yep.
So she could sing online.
She could sing, sure.
She could sing online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we could have a video of her added to the telethon.
But just watching everything, the people that came in to volunteer, their talent, the people that were helping, it was just very inspiring that there were, even on Long Island in this area, there were that many people ready to jump in real fast. And I'm even finding that a gentleman that my husband has Dunkin' Donuts coffee with every Sunday morning, was telling him about the telethon, and he said, I'll be happy to go and entertain. So
just gotta ask, gotta make people aware, and they're more than they're more than willing to help us.
So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be bigger and better as it is
May
every year.
5th, 2019. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. right here on Village Connection Network on Facebook, and VillageConnectionRadio.com if you want to Skype in through not a Facebook location. But it's going to be remarkable, and this is going to be just a blast. This year is just going to be like, let it all loose. Everybody is joining us. Everybody who's been a part of the telethon, you're more than welcome to join us, Doreen. I mean, we are really, I think we have like maybe 100 people so far, booked. So, it's just going to really be a good time. Really going to be a great time.
I know Cher will be back. Louise Bruno, who
to represent Cher.
Yeah.
I just saw her in the Best of Long Island.
Oh, really? Yeah.
magazine.
She was amazing. And of course, we have Elvis.
Yes.
He's going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just confirmed that the next show is going to go on. So I want to but we're so excited. We're really, really excited. Before we get into Doreen, who's got the time, what's it called?
Time to play.
Time to Play, which is an incredible
Well, just to throw out, it basically is a reminder that every moment of your day you should feel like you're at play.
Right.
And
But hold your
the whole
thoughts,
thing.
because
Yeah,
I'm not
so-
sure if you're on camera yet. Is she on camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
Floating around. So.
Yes, yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if you were on yet, but I do want to give Jim the opportunity to keep his brother's memory alive. His brother passed at age 25. It's in our press, and when Jim said to me, "Oh my God, did you hear that Luke Perry had a stroke?" And then he passed from a stroke. Jim's like, "Oh my God, he was too young." And I said, "Yeah, that's why you have to value your life." He goes, "I know." He goes, "My brother passed at 25." I'm like, "Oh my God."
What did he pass from?
He had a heart condition, myocardosis, where it's like an inflammation on the heart. And he also had diabetes, so the symptoms were similar,
Right.
so they didn't catch it.
Right.
But even if they did, it's kind of like the only treatment is a heart transplant, once it gets to that point. But yeah, it was shocking, 20, wow, it's a long time
25.
ago, 25
But we
years.
wanted to keep his memory alive, and I put out photos. I don't know if you saw it on
That was
Facebook.
33 years ago.
33 years ago. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how time
Sorry to hear
flies.
And his birthday's this month.
Oh, so we're honoring him right on his birthday.
His birthday month, yeah.
Yay! Congratulations.
Great.
Happy birthday. What's his name? John Michael.
Yep.
John Michael.
Before we go on, I would just like to send out prayers and condolences to Leanne Brill and her family.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Passed
That's
very
so sad.
unexpectedly on Monday. We don't know
Why?
why.
We don't have the details
We have no
yet.
details, but she was with us last year on
Yes,
the telethon. She's
yes.
an amazing talent. She's an exceptional woman.
Yeah.
And we were, you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
it doesn't compute.
We're thinking about
what's
you,
going on.
Leanne.
So
Yeah.
we just want
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
send that out.
So.
Sad.
Well, that's honestly one of the messages that I
So
advocate.
take it away, Doreen.
So unfortunately, like all of this discussion, you have this 1 second of life.
Yeah.
There's no other seconds, right? And so if we don't enjoy our moments, and we see in our society so many people, they're sick, they're sad, they're suffering, they're in recovery, they're reinventing, they're having negative thoughts, they're prisoners in their own mind, and basically we hate our life. We hate our life, a lot of us.
They do. It's true because sometimes people are in a job. I'll talk about the job world because we need finances, and they are not happy with it, but they stay there because
70% of our workforce hates their job. 70%.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. There's a whole bunch of different things. So the time to play philosophy that I've been putting together, and I've worked in healthcare for 31 years. My background is in quality improvement, and I'm a mom.
Yeah.
We're moms. I hate to see my children, the history repeats itself, right? And this is just a perpetuation of all these things, all this stuff that you guys are talking about today, all secret, everything, and the time to play philosophy is to be happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance, 1,000 billion%. If you are not healthy, you
can't
cannot
do that.
enjoy your life.
Right.
And on my way here this morning, I was just thinking, one of my very good friends from high school, we've connected over Facebook and stuff. She actually has been doing a lot of research. She's a teacher in a high school. She's a librarian, so she's been doing a lot of research regarding chemicals, impact of chemicals. She posted bounce dryer sheets yesterday on Facebook, and the chemicals and the asthma and the disease and the cancers and all this other stuff that these things cause us, and it's all hidden. We don't realize it. And on my way here, I don't know, sometimes when you're driving, you
that's
just,
where my brain goes.
And I was thinking of bleach. Like, you would not feed your child bleach, right? But we feed our child Gatorade, and we feed our child stuff that has chemicals and yellow dye number 3 or whatever. These are things that we really
fructose,
need.
high fructose,
the high fructose
not
corn
good.
syrup, the trans fats, which I know have been, decreasing. But trans fats were actually made to be furniture polish, and they decided that it helps us. I'm not kidding. It helps us keep our food fresh. Or if you look at like Famous Amos cookies, there's TBHQ in there. It's a form of butane, and it helps with freshness. But why are we feeding this to our children? So they have a black box warning on the thing, or it should be a black box warning, whatever. So it's telling us,
just read the ingredients before you buy
But here
it.
you have ADD, ADHD, all this
I
stuff.
want to catch for a moment though.
Yes.
I don't want to not have anybody purchase Otis Sponge Bar
Oh,
cookies.
no.
I want to say like.
No, I'm just throwing out.
Just look for your research. Do your research.
Read the
find out.
ingredients,
Read
make
the
your
ingredients.
choice. Right.
Yeah, we just
And-
want to
and
make
truth.
sure that.
And
yeah.
everything in our life is a choice. Everything in our life is a research, a decision. And I know that we live by convenience a lot of times because we're very busy and we're pulled in 7,000 directions every moment of our day. But this is part of my vision, my passion. We are always fighting against all of the problems that we have created.
Right.
Right. So how about if we shift? I started a hashtag Fight For.
Wow.
Fight for life enjoyment, fight for quality of life, fight for solutions, fight for your happiness, fight for believing that you are good enough.
Right.
Because we are
yeah.
not taught that. We are
not.
actually taught absolutely the end. So I wanted to just mention something that I am doing on Fight For. This is, let me, I don't know if I should,
Oh, yes,
if there's
yes.
a way to show it, but it's Celebrate Life, and this is an event that we're going to be doing at the Port Jefferson High School, and it is as part of the Drug Prevention Coalition,
Important stuff.
part of Brookhaven Town. Art is an expression of the soul. We're going to be doing art, music, celebration, everything positive, photos, everything positive.
Right,
And
right.
this was one of the really most important reasons that I wanted to come here today, is to talk about things that can bring us hope, bring us awareness. We're going to do some resources. So I know you got the telethon the next day, but maybe I can have some information there as well for,
absolutely.
stroke awareness.
Absolutely.
I am a huge preventive. Again,
If I could come and be a part of that,
I would
definitely.
love, and we're going to be
we'll have a
doing
table.
music, and we're going to be doing singing.
And I could do that as well.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And, this
Doesn't
is...
matter if it was on the telethon day at night. We would do it.
The whole biggest thing, and this is the biggest thing that I love, that you guys are bringing people together to work together
Yeah.
to help bring the message out there, because that's the biggest obstacle that I've encountered.
Yeah, because everybody thinks, it's division. Everybody thinks like,
Right.
This is my foundation, this is your foundation. We all have the same goal and objective.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
If we work together,
Yeah.
solution opportunities,
Yeah.
how can we work together to bring this awareness to create a better life
Yeah.
for ourselves, for our families, for our communities?
Yeah.
Because everything that impacts that one person impacts, it's that ripple effect.
Right.
Right. So when we're having so many people that are disabled, I looked at statistics. What was it? 180,000 people a year die of stroke.
I think it's, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
off the top of
something
my head.
like- it's
Do
something like that.
you have a press release?
It's
It's on our press release.
Yeah, it's huge.
But the number doesn't matter because it's so big.
Right, one
Yeah.
is a number. We've heard this, right? One is a
Yeah.
number.
Oh, Judy can read
And
it. It's here. It's under here, I think.
800,000 people in the United States have a stroke each year.
okay. How many
And
people die of the
On
stroke?
an average, one American dies from a stroke every 4 minutes.
It's crazy. It's
devastating.
And
Crazy.
that's
It is.
just in this country.
Indeed.
And people think that strokes happen to their grandparents,
Right, but it's not.
and it doesn't.
No,
It
It
doesn't.
happened to an
It doesn't.
unborn baby.
It doesn't.
absolutely.
No.
Our UPS guy was in his very early 30s. He had a stroke. Thank God
Mm-hmm.
he didn't suffer any significant. He's back, he's working
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but you wouldn't think. And it's just the principle that, we are always doing recovery, reinvention, repairing relationships, repairing our health, right? How about we look at I'm actually writing a book, and I've actually created a program called Pre-Invent Your Life, and I'm writing the Pre-Invent Your Life toolbox. It's been taking me some time, but I did bring my prequel book.
Oh, excellent.
This is or the I don't know, the prequel
see.
is coming. This one is If I Knew Then What I Know Now.
This was the you wrote. Oh, this is
That's-
incredible.
That's my book.
Oh
And,
my God. If I knew then what I know now, our quest for quality of life.
And my goal is to write the pre. Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
The pre. I'm Italian. I got it. I have to talk. No, but I'm writing the pre to the re.
Right.
Because this is a re. Right? Everybody, we learn, and yes, important to learn, but we could prevent better.
Right,
You know, we could
right.
prevent
and
negative
we're,
health,
we're on a
prevent
journey,
negative
and
relationships.
we, you know, that's why when some of these actors, and I talk about them only because they're in the public eye,
Right.
you know, when they've made a mistake many years ago, and now they're acknowledging it because of the awareness that people are bringing to it now, they're kind of like cleansing their soul. You know, you have to figure out, like, okay, if they did it back then and they haven't done it anything until now, like, you have to give people the opportunity to forgive them.
Agreed.
You know, I mean,
Agreed.
it's all about your history. You know, if you continue to do that like some of the artists are now, then that's cause for people to question.
Well,
you know, I don't want to talk about anybody in
I
specific
understand.
because I don't like to, but I'm just saying, like, that is the information. So this is an incredible book.
We're a celebrity society, and I think that that's part of the not good enough concept that we live with. Also, of course, that we feel we have to be like, oh, look at me. And when we're not being paid attention to, that also is causing negative outcomes in our youth. And that's the whole problem with Facebook too. Like, we have to show, like, oh, look at me. I'm
How
on
many people like
this,
yes.
or I'm on that.
Yeah.
Right.
How many
And-
people liked my photo, or
Right.
you know, I mean, it's good, but it's bad. I mean, you just
Agreed.
said that you hooked
It
up with a
shouldn't be
friend
that-
on
shouldn't be
Facebook.
that
you have a-
Yes,
Yeah.
the connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been shown and proven that social media actually creates social isolation. It's actually shown
It does.
it increases depression. And yesterday I saw an article, and I'm going to pull it back up because I didn't get a chance to really read the whole thing, but a researcher, because we have to research everything, but in the meantime people are dying because we're researching, but we're not shifting.
Right.
But a researcher had noted that people have to check their phones because that makes them feel busy and important. Like that we're having this, you know, we have to look at our phone. We have to see.
Yeah. It's an addiction.
We have to be important.
But I mean, I don't do it because I want to be important. I just want to make
But
sure
that's
that I'm
a
staying on
healthy
top
mindset.
of,
Do you
of
understand?
what I need to.
Right.
Well, you've got
do.
400 things going on.
Right.
Given
but,
time.
but there's a difference between a positive behavior and a negative.
Right, but maybe
behavior.
that's something that needs to go into the school systems to train.
Truth. Well, the schools, you know, originally started with you're not allowed to have your phones, but
Right.
now
That's
everybody
right.
has their phones.
Well, because
Some of it's a
parents
safety
want,
issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
safety issue.
But I have
Yeah.
to say, at home, in my home office, both my husband's phone and my phone ring continuous.
Oh, I can just
However,
imagine.
I'm doing my work, and I
Right.
don't really. If I'm in the room, I'll take a look, and if there's no name,
You're not answering
just the
it.
number,
I get
just
you.
leave me a message. You don't leave a message, it's not important. If I'm in another room, I tend to go see, or I listen from the other room. Is there going to be a message?
Mhm.
If I hear a voice, I'll come running.
Which
But,
is
but
important.
otherwise, you,
right.
if the phone's ringing all the time, you're not getting anything done.
This is true. So I wanted to go back a little bit, like, so that I started this Time to Play project. I started working in nursing homes in the year of 2001.
Right.
And you know how, like, your perspective changes when you're exposed to other things.
Definitely.
And I started to notice people at end of life having regrets. And this is part of where I started thinking. And then, of course, if I knew then what I know now, and we say this, but I've been doing a lot of research, and it's actually shown and proven that most people, and if you've ever gone to personal development workshops, most people don't start to seek shifting to finding out how they could create a better life until they're in their 50s.
Wow.
And
that's so true.
But it is.
That's so
and
true.
it's actually, there was research done at Stony Brook University by a Dr. Stone and Broderick in 2010, they published a study that most people don't enjoy life from the time that they're around 18 till they're 50, when they've learned enough life and coping skills to start to not care as much and to be able to, you know, live their life like just whatever. But if we're living to the average life expectancy in the United States is 78.2 years old.
It's getting older now.
It's getting younger.
Really?
Yes, because of the negative health issues that we're facing with our youth, the increase of diabetes. You know, it actually is decreasing.
Well, maybe we should do a show on that. Maybe you can do some research.
Absolutely,
and
Judy can
Judy
I'm
yeah.
a research fanatic.
Yeah.
Again, my background's in quality improvement, so
Yeah.
this is what I've been driven since 2010. I started really digging.
Think July, because that's where I'm booking.
You got it.
Now.
You got it. No, so this is
we'll
the
nail
whole
down
point.
a July date.
I love it.
This week.
But the whole point of it is, and that's the point of time to play. Because even if you look up the definition of play in the dictionary, it'll say an activity mostly for children. Right. So like the adults, we live our life existing, surviving, you know.
And a lot of people say, well, I'll do that when the children are through college or after they get married.
And
or
I'll be happy when I buy that new house or
you gotta
move
be
to
happy
Florida,
now.
you know.
Yes.
And when I retire, which is like one of
and
the
how
worst.
do you know you're going to get to that retirement age?
This is what
that's true.
The circumstance this week actually hurt my heart, because this is not the first instance where you get to our retirement age, that golden years where you're going to start to love your life. And again, this is part of that whole thing, working in the nursing homes, seeing people with no longer independent, seeing people with regrets that they didn't achieve what they wanted, that they didn't pursue their dream, that they didn't, you know, go to Tahiti, you know. And this is where the whole thing started. When do you enjoy your life? When do you have time to play? Right. And my whole mission is to create a visible and visual shift and trigger. So I wanted to just share my shirt. This is actually something I've been putting together.
Grateful.
As I have
this.
I have this.
Oh, okay.
So we're actually working to do these I Am Awesome workshops.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
This one is actually a one that you could color in.
Oh.
And we're going to be doing these I Am Awesome workshops.
That's awesome.
I had one in my office that went
really
from
nice.
That's great.
the age of 9 was the youngest person there to 79.
Right.
And everybody walked out. This is self-awareness, because we don't keep track of how do we feel throughout our day. And this is self-expression, because if you say I am depressed, or I am tired, or I am awesome, you can
whatever
see
you
the
say
difference.
is what you're going to be
You
that
got
day.
to.
So if you start the day with a positive attitude, you're going to be positive all day. But if you
Indeed.
start the day with, oh my God, I'm going to work and I hate the job, blah, blah, blah,
Indeed.
you're going to have a terrible day.
Indeed.
So it's all in your mind.
It
I
becomes
am-
a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Yes.
I am exhausted, I am tired, I am depressed. And this is what you hear people say all the time. So if we can shift the perception, and what you guys are doing is fabulous.
And you have to be around positive people all the time.
And that's tough
okay,
too.
if you're with people who are negative, you've got to move on. Because it's definitely gonna spill over onto you.
Wow.
And through my research and through the things that I've been learning, we are a product of our learned behavior.
Oh, absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
our family
And that's it.
dynamics,
Then we should encompass that into the next program.
I would love that.
How we need to be aware that what children learn, because you can change it as you're older because you're more aware of it, but what children learn, the impact that teachers and we have on our children really can change
What
the
do
course.
you see as the title of this show?
I don't know, but I know we
I'm loving it.
Pam's pulling up.
Do you have an idea?
Well, we can, I don't know, hopefully I'll have my pre-inventor life book done by
Okay,
then.
well,
So
we're
we'll
gonna
talk
book it
about
this week.
pre-invent. But
Sure.
I'm
back
definitely
here.
looking forward to you guys coming to join us on 5-4.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
we're in. Judy will connect with you just to
I'm
make sure.
excited.
Yes.
This is
Come on
wonderful.
in, Fern.
See, it's worth
So you're gonna have to scooch down.
Why don't you sit on the stool?
Sit down.
All right, do you want me to move
So
over?
I wanna no. I just wanted to have her pop in because Pam is coming in,
You'll show up with it.
and we want to respect her time.
You'll be there. In a moment.
But
it takes a while to show up.
You may have to bend down a little.
Oh,
there he is. This was an incredible show. It was so jam-packed with so much important information. And I love the way that both of you were scheduled before the Luke Perry and really tied in. God was preparing us for that show. And it really is important, with Luke Perry's passing and Jim's awareness of his brothers, bringing his brother to life, and you talking about enjoying your life.
Absolutely.
Time to play. I mean, I get so, I believe in God, but it just brings so much awareness to me, of the situation.
In actuality, this is perfect what you're saying. Like literally, as the person is going through their day, as anybody out there is going through your day, if you start to feel like you're having a not good time, take a minute and stop and remember time to play. You can shift your life experience because, like Luke Perry, I don't think he planned on passing.
No.
He had all sorts of great stuff coming up.
Yeah, the 90210 reboot and stuff.
It's horrible.
Yes.
So
I just want to add one other thought. If you're a caregiver, and you're really occupied with taking care of your loved one,
take care of yourself.
Please take some time to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to get ill.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to be helpful to anyone.
So on that note, I hate to cut everybody off because we could talk forever.
We could.
But that's why the show keeps going on for 5 years.
Oh, there you go.
We want to thank Jim for coming in today because Jim is struggling as well with his neurological.
Easy for you to say.
Neurological. I'm getting good at it. It's only been 30 years.
You guys are a blessing, with no doubt.
Thank you.
Seriously, and with no doubt to be able to show how you can recover and how you can move forward, and you're not stuck dwelling on this illness. You're moving forward and you're helping other people. And
we want to help other people not to experience what we're experiencing.
Right.
That 20% that 20% that has a stroke, or all that have a stroke, we want to help them in recovery.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Doreen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jim, for coming in. Thank you, Ginny, for stopping by.
pleasure.
This is
Anytime.
Herb, Ginny's husband. We invited him. We invited him. He's a part of our telethon team as well. And of course Judy, and we want to thank all of you for joining us today, because today was an important show. And we look to broadcast this on all airwaves. So my vision is to have a syndication of this show, and to put it on all the internets and all the websites, and because I think we really have important information.
Very important.
It's not about us, this show. It's about providing information that really is very, very important. So with that, we have to go because we don't want to be too late for Pam, and we always blow our kisses. So let's blow our kisses. Ready? God bless everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Jim Blue kisses too.
That all dead, the lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man, with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind. Security, this newfound freedom you kept from me. The sound of all your loaded gun. This outbreak war has just begun. The sound of all your loaded gun. This broken man has already won. Oh, my mind is. Oh, I shed my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here.